Welcome to this episode of Ink It Up with Jessica TV. Today I'm going to show you how to make this anniversary card with some tips for using big background stamps and for masking. So I'm going to start with a mask that I've made. I created this by using a square framelit and cutting a square out of the center of a piece of cardstock, and you can use this over and over again once you make one. So as you can see, I have a piece of Whisper White cardstock that I'm just going to line it up on top of. I did use a temporary adhesive on the back. This is Hermafix Transfer that I used, but you just want to use something that's not too sticky because you don't want it to stay stuck. So you can also use two-way glue and let it dry before you put them together, and that will work as a temporary adhesive as well. So I'm just going to line those up, and then we're going to start by stamping some words. I'm going to use a big background stamp. And this has words so that there is a correct upside and downside. Some background stamps it's not going to matter, but make sure you pay attention to that. And I found with the bigger stamps, it's easier for me to leave them down on the table and lift up my ink pad than to keep my ink pad down on the table and try to ink up my stamp like that. So I'm going to leave this down on the table. I'm going to use Pink Pirouette, and I'm just going to ink up the stamp. Next, I'm going to turn this piece over on top. These are words, so I kind of want it to be straight. And then I'm just going to put a piece of scratch paper over top and rub my hand over it. And that's going to make sure that the stamp image gets onto my cardstock. And there you have it. Next, I'm going to take that same Pink Pirouette ink with a sponge, and I cut my stamping sponges into wedges and put a little handle on the top. I also put the color that I use it with because some people clean off their sponges and use them with different colors. I'm too lazy to do that. So I just keep one color ink to use with each sponge wedge. I'm just going to sponge this over top of my mask. You can dab it on, you can sponge it on in circles, however you want to do it. And you can also make it darker around the edges and leave the inside lighter if you want to, or you can do it the same all the way through. So we just want it to be dark enough that our square is going to stand out. And that looks pretty good. So you'll see once we take this mask off, there is our square. Next, I'm going to stamp Happy Anniversary on here, and I just have a little Happy Anniversary stamp from the Express Yourself stamp set. I'm going to stamp that in Primrose Petals. Normally I would use my Stamp-A-Majig for this, but I am going to eyeball it and see how it turns out. I'm going to go just right below that square. Not too bad. Now I'm going to go ahead and do some taping together. So I have a piece of Primrose Petals cardstock that's just a little bit bigger than my white piece. If you download the viewing guide for this episode, the dimensions will be listed there. I'm going to put a little snail in the corners and attach these two together. Just gives it a nice frame. And then I'm going to put this on just a Whisper White card. Again, using the snail adhesive. And we'll center that there. We're almost done with this. The last piece is to add our hearts. And I just have two Primrose Petal hearts here that I made with the Hearts Collection framelit. It's the smallest heart in there. You could also use a heart punch for this part. I'm going to put a dimensional on the back of each, just to pop it up a little bit. And then you just arrange them in your square where you want them. I wanted them to be overlapping a little bit. So there you go. There's a nice anniversary card with some tips for using your background stamps and for using masks with sponges. I hope you enjoyed it. Thanks for watching.